My name is Ed Maasberg. When the war started, I was 13 years old. I had parents and two sisters, grandparents, uncle, cousins. I am the only survivor.
Hi, I'm Virdi for the Fan Carpet, here for the premiere of Destination Unknown.
Wow, an 11-year journey, 13-year journey, 11 years of which were extremely lonely. It was just two cameramen and me. We recorded the testimonies, and that's on the basis of a trip I went on to Auschwitz in 2001. It was a very, very late Polish winter. Coming into March, end of March, beginning of April, and the most significant part of that trip, and there were a couple of factors. Going into one of the blocks in Auschwitz, I saw an image of a 13-year-old girl. Loads of images on the wall, all shaven, but there was one distinct one out of hundreds that were displayed. And this little girl called Christina. She was 13-year-old at the time. She survived Auschwitz for 6 months only, and she was the spitting image of my daughter. So from there on, I don't know what it was. It hit me for 6, and one of the people that were with me, I don't think I've told anybody else the story, just walked out. Not from seeing that specific picture, but just walked out, and I couldn't console him. So I went home, I researched for almost 18 months, possibly a bit longer, into the Shoah, into watching different documentaries and whatever you could do online then. The material wasn't quite as abundant. And then by total accident, I made a phone call to Ronkonkoma, New York, and I wanted to obtain a technical item, nothing to do with the Holocaust, and I couldn't get hold of them. I was thinking, is this company gone bust? And then after about 2 weeks, possibly longer, I got hold of the owner of the company called Mark Hersley, who is now, incidentally, the executive producer of the film. And his father, during that conversation, he told me it was in Block 11, and I knew what Block 11 was in Auschwitz. It was the waiting room for the crematoriums. It was the death block. But he said to me in the conversation, why don't you come over? If you want to film these people, I know a lot of people. Come over. And his words were, I will line them all up for you. I flew over and I stayed in the UN Plaza Hotel opposite the United Nations, and that was our camp for about a week and a half, and 3 a day on the long days were coming in. And what we did differently, because you could not research every single individual, so we went for a more simplistic approach, which probably gave you more intimacy in those interviews. It was a simple question, which you wouldn't have the time to do this with me now. You take me from your childhood to liberation. A life story, a nightmare to edit. But Claire Ferguson had to sift through the 400 hours of testimony, and she's done brilliant, sterling work, because Claire was a fresh set of eyes, known in the industry, brilliant storyteller. And over that period, over that 13-year period, it was amazing the network that was created. I mean, you're encountering Schindler survivors, but the most difficult one to get hold of was the guy that I would argue, Schindler's List would not exist without Mietek Pemper. He intercepted telegrams from Berlin, even to the command of the level of Gerhard Maurer, who had several hundred camps he was responsible for. And he intercepted emails that were destined for Armin Gut, who was depicted in Schindler's List by Ray Fiennes. So by intercepting those telegrams, he could inform Schindler what the next steps were of the high command, and the camp was going to be closed down. The camp closing down meant liquidation. Liquidation means mass murder of the entire group of people. So by giving him that information, Schindler knew because he changed his mind, he changed his ways. Schindler was a Nazi, but Schindler had seen what was happening. He was from a background where he had Jewish friends. These are human beings, not the way the Nazis depicted them. So he gave him the information, but he was very reluctant to give him the information while he was drunk. Schindler liked this drink. This is according to Pemper. So he managed to give him that information. Listen, you need to do war-winning products, not pots and pans. So Schindler would tell him, well, I'm making money with pots and pans. He says, listen, you're going to lose your workforce. So he moved to Brunlitz. He took 700 men, 300 women, and that's the list. So there are several survivors, but Mr. Mossberg, Edward Mossberg, is the one that has always returned time and time and time again. And the passion he has, well, it's what you've seen. It's what you see in the film. But he is much more, because when you look at Mr. Mossberg and you look at his drive and his commitment to perpetuating the memory of the Shoah, towards the end of the film, you will see a milder, calmer person who, and I think that is the point of the film where Claire has been very, very clever in establishing a character at the beginning of the film, and the one at the end. It's the same guy, it's the same passion, but it comes across a bit differently.
Hey, we're still alive, we're free, ready for anything.
Absolutely. I had a difficult year, 2003, 2004. So I would say late 2003 to mid 2004. Being honest, there were several months. I thought I was heading for a nervous breakdown. There were 3 days I lost whilst in the Caribbean. I went there with a friend. I wanted to switch off. He made references to what we did. He told me on a Wednesday what we did the day before, and I could only remember Sunday, and it had nothing to do with alcohol. I lost 2 days, literally like an absence, and I didn't get it diagnosed. I thought possibly people were telling me that it could have been a nervous breakdown. I eased off for a couple of months, but we were off again. It was fine. 2007 was another intense year. 2015, I had a panic attack coming back from visiting Helen Sternlich, who features in the film. I had 4 flights that week. I came back to the hotel. I was checking out. Claire Ferguson said to me, the director, Llion, you don't look too good. I said, I don't feel too good. I knew my pulse was racing. I could feel it. I laid myself down in the foyer. I could hear the reception staff saying, we need an ambulance. One of our guests is having a heart attack. I knew it wasn't a heart attack, but I couldn't figure out what it was. I wanted to touch everything, touch the wall, because I wasn't sure whether I was in or out. I wasn't sure whether I was gone. So I lay down on the floor, but bizarrely, who was standing in front of me was Chad MacDonald, because he stayed in the hotel. He said, I think you need a pillow, young man. By which time the ambulance had arrived. 2 of them had arrived, because they were close together, and put the ECG on me. And during that conversation with the ambulance people, I said, I'm not having a heart attack, no, but you need to go in now. My BP is normally 120/80. It was 180/120. So took me into West Midlands Hospital. Claire, love her to bits. She stayed with me for several hours, and then for the next 2 or 3 weeks they kept coming back. And I think the worst time to get a panic attack is when you're driving. I had another one just going to town. I thought, got deep breathing, hold it in, let it out slowly, but it works.
I felt this. I feel this today. This is already 70 years. I never forgot this.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.